Some of us, man, some of us be lonely as hell, bro. Siri be the only people we got sometimes. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Tech Talk. I'm here with Ryan and Christian, and we are going to discuss the hot topics this week that can be found on Tech Times. Yeah, how's it going, fellas?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great.
Doing pretty good. Yeah. There's been some interesting topics come up this week, and I think Christian has some segues kind of into these topics. So what we got going on, Christian?
Alrighty. Our first topic for today. AI generated podcasts are slowly carving out their niche within the vast ecosystem. While major platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify do not have a dedicated category for AI generated content, these podcasts are starting to gain attention. The emergence of AI generated podcasts has brought to light tensions within the podcasting industry. Chris, what does this mean for content creators and listeners?
Being both a content creator and a consumer of podcasts, I'm not worried, and I'm also not impressed. Like, the human factor that we've discussed before with AI is just lacking, and I don't want to watch a generated podcast, right? Like maybe for fun, like to see, oh, what is this like? Or that's an interesting take on something, but it's not something I'm worried about, and I'm not going to religiously watch an AI generated podcast like I may do some other podcasts.
I'm a little worried about like the misinformation aspect or just the I guess miscommunication, I guess, right? I mean, you listen to a podcast and most of the time you just kind of put it on, you don't really pay attention, at least for me. And it's like what if you click the wrong one? What if it's an AI one and you're just like listening to some essentially bullshit? Like you just don't even know. Like say you're a fan of I believe they mentioned Joe Rogan being one of them. Say you're a fan of Joe Rogan and you pop on a Joe Rogan podcast, but it's all just AI generated. It's like I don't know, like what do you think after that? It's like you can't even really, it's hard to trust or believe maybe even the platform anymore. Yeah, it leads to some scary stuff as all this AI stuff does. It's scary world we're heading into. It's one thing that I feel like we're gonna have to like pay attention to is especially with music. I think music is a big one when it comes to copyright laws and stuff like that, and how we approach this fun thing called AI. Yeah, very scary, very scary world.
Yeah, for me, the core appeal of podcasts is actually in the natural conversation and intimacy that it has. Like, uh, as far as I can tell, I don't actually understand what AI can actually bring to this platform, like podcasting. Like, does this mean that the host is an AI, but the guest would actually just be human? Like,
Yeah,
could the guest actually appreciate talking to a machine?
I think it depends on the type of show we're talking about. Like for if we keep going with the Joe Rogan example, if he's sitting there talking to an AI and it's and it's brought to light, right? It's so if it's like Joe Rogan talking to an I feel like that could work, but so long as it's like actually mentioned, so long as people know that, I think I've mentioned this before. It's like it's so easily replicable. Sure, what you said earlier, Chris. It's not really there yet when it comes to this, like the closest to reality, but still people can easily mistake it for actual humans and stuff. So if you're gonna pop into a show and they're using AI and stuff, I think it'd be best for them to at least tell the audience this is all artificial, or this, what I'm talking today is artificial.
Yeah, in terms of opinion regarding to AI, how much could we see opinions coming from a machine as a valid one in terms of conversation?
Yeah, I think that's
Again,
kind of in line with the conversation we had before about AI kind of plagiarizing what's already online. So as censorship and things like that continue, then obviously that's going to mold AI's opinion, because that's the
input.
only the information that's available is what hasn't been censored.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's it's we're getting to this like really strange realm where AI almost can mimic us to a degree, right? Like almost like baseline level. And we're just gonna have to like approach that in a very safe way, I think.
Yeah,
So
I just can't see how audiences would actually appreciate this. Like you use
oh,
the
for
term
sure, no.
mimic, like how mimicking something isn't actually that authentic,
Yeah,
especially in terms of the
that's
conversation. Like if the three of us are having scripted conversations right now, how much of this conversation can our audience or the three of us actually appreciate?
I think it would come down to the premise or the like what type of show we're talking about. So like for us, if this was all AI generated, you're right. I don't think that people would find entertainment, but would it lead to clicks? Would it lead to, I guess, views? Probably, just for the sheer fact that it's using a technology and using. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
sure, people might not be entertained by it, but it's still something that gets people interested, if that makes sense.
right. Yeah, I imagine that would be a selling point early on, but like I said, I don't think this has any type of staying power
Yeah,
unless
it's not sustainable. It's not
unless
sustainable.
there's something that happens within the AI podcast that we humans are simply not capable of.
Yeah.
Like,
Eh,
like a Q&A about anything, right? Like
yeah.
I can't answer questions about most shit, much less everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can an
Well,
AI even be canceled online on Twitter?
probably, yeah. It's trust me, Twitter will find anything, anybody, whatever it be, they'll cancel it.
That's that's actually a good question, Christian, because it makes me think about right now AI. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, sure, we're going to let it go. But as soon as AI does something remotely offensive, and then like the walls of Twitter start closing in on AI, that could be the push that really could be the start of the end of this incredible amount of AI generated content where it's like AI
I don't
is
know. I
racist
don't think
or
it's going
AI is
anywhere.
sexist. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but we already discussed
Even
this before. Like when AI actually started, it was actually siphoning everything online, every opinion, and when the majority actually provides the opinion, I think pretty much the AI gets that personality. I think that's why AI is pretty much thought of as a left wing thing.
Yeah, back to the
interesting.
censorship. Back to the censorship, I think.
Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think AI is going anywhere, even if something like because like I remember this was like a month or so ago. I even mentioned it on the show, but how it AI led to a person's death. Um, the person was very much like about climate change and stuff, and was talking to the AI, almost like kind of behind his wife's back, and like they were just the whole I'd have to look up the whole story again, but it's essentially the guy, offed himself after asking the artificial intelligence like what should I do, and like he didn't really know what to do. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's grounds, in my opinion, that's pretty hardcore grounds for cancellation, I'd think, right? I mean, uh, it's a little terrifying, right? So like out from the outset, but again, it's like no one. It's like that was yesterday's news. It's already gone, already forgotten. So, especially with the type of stuff that's happening with AI and it's just being implemented into everything, I don't think anyone's going to care. If it makes their life easier, in the context of podcasts, I agree. I don't think there's much of a lasting power there, just for like dependent upon the conversations had with the AI. If the conversation is interesting, I think, there'll be there'll be listeners. But yeah, I think again, it depends on the entertainment value.
Hmm.
And I guess if people are going to learn something, they'll probably tap in, right? No matter what.
Right. Right. So, in your opinion, Ryan, as a content creator, as a creator in general, would you say that it's better to embrace AI as compared to like
Hmm.
avoid it? You know what I mean? Like, I can imagine
Yeah.
bringing in AI to this podcast in particular, especially since we're tech. So
Yeah.
an AI segment would probably be better than not, right?
But you have to be very careful how to use it. Like if we're using it for maybe just organizing
Mm.
scripts, stuff like that, if we're, just cleaning out like I use what is it, the can't think of the name of it, but the, like grammar and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
we use that stuff all the time, right? I
Mm.
mean,
Right.
um yeah, that type of stuff, sure. But if we're using it full-fledged, like just for ourselves, like in place of ourselves, then that's just inaccurate, or it's just it's not good to the audience, right? It's not something the audience wants. They want us, they want the genuine thing,
Right.
not artificial intelligence. That makes sense.
It
So
does. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
mhm.
Like I think the main selling point for this is that content will just be delivered in a timely manner. If it's
Mhm.
Yeah,
AI
and
assisted.
and I find it interesting that even Grimes is like, Grimes is just kind of crazy and all about this type of stuff. So it makes sense to a degree, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. Emergent technologies are always going to fascinate us, and they're always going to make us like, want to dive in. Like last year with the metaverse or even NFTs, it was huge. Like people just
Right.
automatically just dove in. And it's easy for us to just let our hands go and go, okay, AI will do everything for us.
Mm.
But the human inputs have to stay, right? Sure, people get their content in a timely manner, but at the same time, is it the same content? Is it the same? No, not
Right.
not at all.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that this would kill creativity in a sense because even editing
Exactly.
would fall
Exactly.
under this category. If you're
Well, I
going to be
mean,
saving time, that would include editing of a video.
right.
Yeah.
I could also imagine a scenario where like AI, right? Like you said, Ryan, it's coming in, it's here to stay. People are excited.
Yeah.
It could make these waves like AI generated podcasts, the AI generated music.
It's gonna
But
happen. Like it's gonna
yeah,
happen no matter
for
what.
sure.
No
But
matter what we say or do.
I kind of see this as maybe a cycle, right? Like there will be, the era of AI, right? Where
Mhm.
everything's fucking AI generated music, AI generated travel plans. And I think from there, maybe it would be like a rebirth of creativity where people would once again get excited for
Hmm.
truly creative stuff.
Yeah. Like what I could see, I think I had mentioned earlier, like with Joe Rogan, say with a co-host being AI, something like that. And you kind of don't know like what the AI is gonna do, or you know what I mean? See, that would be fun. Something like that has
Yeah,
creativity and it leverages AI in an interesting way. Um, Whereas if you're just using AI for the whole thing, are you even getting something valuable like from that? Are you even other than getting your content fast, as Christian had
right,
mentioned? I think that the speediness of it shouldn't matter.
right.
It comes down. Look at so the way I look at it is with the video game industry, right? How video games get delayed all the time, and with the Cyberpunk situation, when that game came out, it became the poster child for getting things out, you know, relatively good as opposed to quickly. You want the game to be good, not not come out with bugs and whatnot, right? So
Right.
when it comes to the podcast, sure, you're gonna get your content fast, but I mean, is it the same? Is it the same, are you still learning stuff? Are you still gathering information? Are you still, finding a connection with the hosts? Not really.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
exactly the
artificial.
thing. And I mean, like us, for example, we can read and reply to and incorporate suggestions from viewers. Whereas,
Yeah.
what I don't know about you guys, but I have no interest in telling AI that I enjoyed your podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, great job, supercomputer. You're,
What does that do
Like-
too?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
telling your toaster you enjoy its bread.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Or, like falling in love with Siri. Like, that shit's not going to happen.
It's definitely happened
Or-
before though.
Well,
What
yeah,
are
I
you
mean, it
saying
shouldn't
right
happen.
now
Yeah. Some of us, man, some of us be lonely as hell, bro. Siri be the only people we got sometimes.
Are we declaring right now this might be the end of talk show sidekicks because of AI?
No, no shot. No shot.
No, I don't think so.
But
Briefly,
I think it would I think it's a revolutionary time for us to see where it can take us and our creativity. As opposed to, dropping all of our hands and saying AI will do everything for us. We could, as I said earlier, use AI to better our creativity as opposed to just, letting it do the creativity for us.
right. Well, I imagine, like, with the podcast, especially, like, we podcast because we want to.
Yeah.
Right. So
We enjoy
just because AI has a podcast doesn't mean I'm going to quit.
Yes, we really want the podcast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I love this so much.
I love this.
Yeah.
Our corporate overlords. We love this.
Yeah.
Help us.
But yeah, for from AI, and I mean, we can shift now because I think this is pretty on track. First, I want to ask the viewers if you have any suggestions, or better yet, if you think we should maybe add some AI element to the podcast, if you'd be interested to see how that runs, drop us a comment or something down there, and tell us what you'd like to see.
I like that.
Yeah, because it's interesting. I'd much rather hear from real people. I mean, AI, if you're listening, you can leave a comment too. That's not a problem.
All the bots. We're gonna get a bot swarm.
Yeah.
Just
If you have a
Don't take our
nice
job at this point.
yeah, if you have a nice if you have a nice rebuttal lined up there, Chat GPT, let us have it. But moving from just intelligence, right? Just artificial intelligence. We
Machine
also
learning.
we
Yeah.
also talked about a little more, or not talked about, we covered a little more somewhat physical evolution of AI, which is humanoid robots.
Yeah.
Let's all together go to the next level of unemployment. Our second topic is California-based startup Figure has achieved a tremendous feat by securing a substantial 70 million in its initial round of external funding to fast-track development of humanoid robots. Ryan, do you think this will have the same impact as automation in the global workforce?
No. No. I mean, we're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a ton of different companies that pop up over the years that are trying to do this, and we're far from like a Westworld situation where we get a theme park with robots that we get to kill. Like we're I don't even know if we'll see that in our lifetime. But I think humans are going to stay in the workforce for a while, for quite a while. I mean, we all this talk about AI stealing our jobs, this and that. It's like, sure, it's the cultural pushback, especially when you look at other places beyond just America. America loves we're lazy pieces of crap. But when it comes to say like Japan or other places, they like, even Japan, they literally, it's like a word, I forget the name of the word, but they literally work themselves to death. Like so in my perspective, right? I mean, I could see maybe the US picking stuff up and streamlining automation, but I do not see it becoming a global thing. I don't see it becoming a mass global thing where AI starts stealing our jobs or robots come in. Then again, I mean, I'm sure it'll be steps in it. There's a process to it,
Right. Yeah.
but it'll take time.
Yeah. Well, you said maybe not a Westworld thing, which I agree. Obviously, not a Westworld thing. but
Yeah.
maybe an iRobot type thing.
Mm.
Like, they're servants, right? Like they cook dinner and they answer the
Like
door.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, like Blade
Like Blade
Runner.
Runner. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's probably
Or
more.
the Jetsons. Yeah. I can see that.
Where is Rosie? Like,
But then you get like the conversation. I don't know if it would happen immediately, but you get the conversation of slavery, right? That's essentially slavery, is it not? And
yeah,
you'll have opponents to that. Even if they're robots, you'll still have opponents to that for sure. So it's like icky situation, I think.
yeah. I mean,
If they're built for that purposes, I don't know. There'll be people there'll be pushback for that all.
it's
Yeah,
like
if they build
it's
cute
like the word
robots,
that
they'll
was.
suddenly have rights.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like the word that I learned from the other day, the speciesist.
I've
It's
never even
like
heard of that.
it's like racist, but if you're racist against like AI, you're a speciesist.
Oh my god.
Speciesist. I can't really say it because it's
That's
an asinine
crazy.
word. But yeah,
Kind
it's
of
a
weird
word.
because an AI is a programming language, right? It's built with that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's a weird term.
It's a very weird
It's
term.
called a species.
I mean,
People are so afraid of losing their jobs. I don't know.
This one
I
I'm
think
not as concerned as the other
Mhm.
use of AI for humanoid robots, because this one actually has a couple of practical applications,
Mm,
right? Like you could
Mhm.
use it for dangerous tasks like
Yep.
mining, if we're still going to be doing mining,
Even think of the military purposes with training.
and
yeah.
yeah, training until these guys actually revolt and conquer the world.
That's Skynet. That's
Yeah.
honestly that's where I see it probably popping up like soonest. It's the military, because if you think about it, the military gets almost everything, before
Yeah.
we even know it exists. So I wouldn't be surprised if they already even have stuff like that. Physical real world robots that they use to a degree for training purposes.
Well, I
Probably not
remember.
on not probably not the extent of this, but
I remember when I was in. Uh, there was a lot of talk about the super soldier suit, which is
yes,
basically the exoskeleton.
exoskeletons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have
Yeah.
yet to come to fruition, but I guarantee you the research is ongoing.
Oh, I saw a few at CES this year. I saw a couple at CES. And you know, they look cool and stuff, but at the same time, how much of it is a gimmick? And then one,
Right.
and two, how much utility you're going to get out of that, other than for say movers or people that are
Right.
like, as opposed to military purposes, right? I
Right.
feel like it has better for construction or these
Right.
type of tasks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially I think in the US military where we are more on speed and precision.
yeah, and it's not so much a ground based,
Mm,
it's more technological, it's more advanced warfare. Funny enough,
right.
that's kind of where we're at now, as opposed to like ground troops and stuff. Like it's more cyber warfare,
Mm.
more, well, are we going to push the button and blow you up with nukes type of situation we are in now, as opposed to the having a necessity for exoskeletons. Like I feel like it's just a kind of a waste of money almost.
At this point, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I love that the development firm for this one is actually claiming that the humanoids robots would solve labor shortages, like as opposed to others' opinions that it would be the one that would cause it,
I don't know if it would.
initial
I don't know if it would
unemployments.
outright cause it,
Yeah,
because who builds the robots,
Mm.
right?
More
Who's
robot
going to
man.
build the Like, yeah, right. Are we going to have? Yeah, exactly,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
even building the robot, I think would need specialized skill, right? Not
For sure.
everyone that's employed could actually
Mhm.
fill in those roles. And my
Yeah.
thing with this is, how extensive is the humanoid robot? What kind of task could it do? It's more, I think, on intent and what these are
Yep.
for. Like we already have
Yeah.
robots right now, but when you add in the term humanoid, that adds intent. What type of job does it do? Does it need to be in human physical form or proportions to actually do the tasks?
It's a great point.
Right.
It's a great point. My grandmother has one of those Zumbas, right? I believe they're Roomba.
Roomba, yeah.
Roombas.
And she's had that for years. So you're to your point, Christian. We've already we've already had robots, and you don't think those are stealing jobs? You don't think there are maids out there that are out of jobs because of Roomba's business? So
Roomba's
if
a
we're
little
already,
shady too, man.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I just say Roomba. Uh, I don't know if it's actually a Roomba, but she has something like that to that,
Yeah,
like a little circular robot that cleans the house.
it's got the little
And
like a miniature street sweeper.
yeah,
Yeah, with
obviously
regards
that's not gonna replace a maid that cleans
Mm,
every surface in the house, whatever it be, cleans the dishes and stuff like that, right? It's not gonna outright replace, but still,
yeah.
um, to Christian's point, we already have robots.
Mm.
Where's the need? Where's the utility in a full humanoid? Other than what most people probably are thinking, sexual shit. Like,
Yeah, in terms of the
Yeah.
Roomba, with regards to robots, I think robots that we have right now is seen as tools rather than a
yeah,
workforce. So
exactly.
if we switch gears to what they're trying to develop, I think it's trying to, I don't know what their intent with this is, but I think it's going to be much more involved in industries that would require human interaction.
Hmm.
Because this is a bit more different than automation.
So with
We're just
like
actually
dangerous
doing
materials, I could
repetitive
see it.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bomb
I could
squad.
see. Yeah, bomb sod. Even maybe even medical purposes. Like I don't know how it would translate, but testing certain medicines, maybe.
Yeah,
I
or
don't
I
know how
mean,
that would
even
work.
you know, heaven forbid, there's another pandemic, like frontline robotic medical providers, right? Like people are
Yes.
sick. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
have this CP3 or whatever
Robot.
come in there and take your take your vitals or
But
whatever.
again, do
You're
you
not
need
exposing a person.
beyond maybe a psychological, like you have a human, and not really human, but a human in front of you, the psychological, do you really need a humanoid for that, a humanoid robot
True.
for such a purpose?
Yeah.
It's funny, you had mentioned R2D2, like
Hmm.
why, what's stopping people from just having an R2D2 system type of thing,
Right.
other than the psychological human connection, maybe purpose of it,
Well,
because the pandemic, had that
yeah.
loneliness aspect to it.
I think
Yeah.
the humanoid aspect, right? Like what makes it human is it has two arms, it's roughly 6 feet
Yep.
tall, it has 10 fingers. Therefore,
Yep.
it can do the things that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
But
R2D2. I
can
mean,
a different frame or body maybe do it better? That's like my
well, you got you. I wish
yeah.
every day I had more arms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's even scarier if they make a superior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Humanoid? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like this
for
thing
sure.
can cook and read and write and change diapers and clean the floor and pay the bills like all at one time, which would take
That's
most of us a better part of the day to do
that's why
Yeah,
I never
everything.
actually saw this one as a replacement. I see this as a tool because
exactly.
even for us humans, it takes a lifetime to teach critical thinking.
That's
That's a
I
good
mean,
point
critical
too.
thinking.
Yeah.
Critical thinking is I mean, that's the whole point of iRobot, right? Like when it started to really
Yes.
check in on
Mhm.
like and become human almost.
I kind of feel that they would be much more effective if they were actually less human because even the smartest human beings in the world actually are pretty stupid at some point.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I was getting at, is like, you know, why do we need to make them like us?
hmm,
Um, like why, like other than maybe, I don't know, sexual stuff, or
right.
like that's like the only really thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. I mean, we're
Because in
talking
other
about
situations, it's not like you need, because we already have humans, is my point. Like we already have humans. Like we already have
right.
that. With robots, they can
Programmable.
take any, yeah, especially you take your imagination to all new heights, right?
Yeah.
You can do anything. Like you can frame it in however you want, especially dependent upon the purpose. Like,
Right.
R2D2s, if we're gonna use that, example. R2D2 was an astromech. They literally were built to fly ships and assortment of other things, but mainly to fly ships.
Hmm.
So, at least in that universe, right? Uh, in our case, it's like what are the type of things that we need, and what, where could we insert easily robots into that equation? Um,
Well, I think very
it's
similar
like,
to that, taxi drivers, right? Like,
yeah,
delivery
yeah,
drivers. And it's funny that we're worried about losing our jobs, but you have a very good point. Whereas these humanoid robots could come in and start wrecking relationships.
yeah.
It's like, what I'm saying?
Like
Like,
I did say this to a friend at one point, like regarding sex robots. Then he was actually laughing at the concept. Then I showed him a modern one,
oh,
and I
dude,
told him,
it's
"Oh,
insane.
you
It's
thought about it, huh?
it's insane.
After seeing it, like
Yeah,
they are looking more human-like.
Yeah.
There are still hints of the uncanny.
yeah. I mean, could you
Like,
imagine just setting like, I mean, you're not. It's not going to forget an anniversary or your birthday. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I
It's
think
going to
that's a
know.
bad thing, right?
I'm pretty sure I've never asked my phone for like a recommendation for food, and my phone be like, I don't know, whatever you want. Like that's never happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's like a real relationship, right?
I and beyond actually the sexual thing, I could see it like how you said, like with like almost like a friend,
yeah,
like a partner or something,
Mm.
right? Like for the people that might be especially when you're talking to a therapist, maybe they can assign you a robot, a friend robot that you can talk to and hang out with. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could
Be
see
like
that.
what do they have now? Those what is it? Feeling pets? What are those things called? Emotional
Yeah.
support things?
Yes.
Have like an emotional support
Mhm.
robot
Yeah.
where it picks up on your vitals and you're like, God, why did I do that? And then the robot's just like, oh no, it's okay. You've 78% of your decisions today have been very good. This is something, some
Yeah. See. Yeah. Exactly.
reassuring type aspect where it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, he's the jackass, not you. One of those. That would be great.
Yeah.
And
But
going back to the report, like they mentioned the humanoid robots would be placed in dangerous roles or something that's physically demanding. But the thing is, like you mentioned with the Roomba, there are already robots doing this. It doesn't actually require to be
And they're
humanoid
probably
in form.
better equipped.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and the form factor of a human, like we've lived as this for all our life, is it any better?
I doubt it. Unless,
Like if you're just going to be doing a specialized task, like
yeah,
it's not a one size fits all deal going
right,
through life.
exactly.
right.
Exactly. But I think it's the easiest framework, right? It's,
It's the most familiar to us.
yeah.
We
Mhm.
equate this human form factor as being
Yeah.
one of superiority when it
Yeah.
comes to living. But let's say, for example, the Land Rover, like, is it any better than what we have right now with four wheels and going across the moon? That's a
No.
dangerous type of work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, which is much more practical. Like, I appreciate that they're actually doing this. This is an advancement in technology as far as we can see, but the practicality to me
Well,
regarding
No.
this pretty much
I
No, I
negligible.
agree. I agree
yeah,
with that.
but I think it's also Christian, like we were talking off camera, um, starting at the end, right?
Yeah.
So they're starting at the finish. We have a humanoid robot. Now, what do we do with it?
Yeah. Where can we go with this frame?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here. We're finished. We're here. We have
Hmm.
it. But let's
Yeah.
find a reason for it.
Interesting.
'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
as just in the realm of being a creator and building something and doing something like this that we've seen since the 60s and 70s, right? There's always, with the C3PO, and then iRobot had them, and I think
Yep.
Surrogate, the movie with Bruce Willis, which is pretty good. They had kind of a mixture kind of thing where like you controlled it, but you stayed home, and like your surrogate android type
Yeah.
thing would be out like living life or
Injected
whatever.
consciousness. Like that's the thing. Like you can't actually duplicate human empathy,
Right.
but if you inject your consciousness into an avatar, there's a
Yeah.
possibility in it.
Yeah, but I think the point is that we're taking these things that have always been very imaginative, and now they're becoming a reality. And whether or not they have a practical use, I don't think really even matters. It's just the fact that, look, we have this.
We can do this. Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah, Ryan, I have a question for you regarding this. How much of this do you think is just vaporware?
Mm, I don't know. That's a tough question. It's the thing is like new technological innovations happen almost instantly now. So to Chris's point, right? This is the starting line or even the end, right? Where do we take the robot next? Where else can we take the humanoid form, especially in the robot sense? So I mean, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's yet to be seen, I think.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like it's so theoretical, but at the same time, it's like it's so tangible still at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting nonetheless. The AI thing, the humanoid, everything we talk about, everything we cover at Tech Times and we talk about here on Tech Talks, it's all so exciting. You know, whether or not there's a tinge of anxiety associated with it or a tinge of, hope that comes with, certain things. It's all very, very exciting, regardless of practicality, functionality, the who's, what's, when, where's, and why's of this technology. It's all super fucking cool.
Yeah, at least in a sense, given if turned into a reality, it would actually benefit us.
Right? Yeah.
Hopefully. That's the hope, I think.
Yeah.
Albeit,
Yeah.
I think it's just a wasteful form factor. Like you would have to think of storage as well as materials.
Oh, storage. No, they use those big trailers, right? With like they open up and then they attack, Will Smith.
Why not build something that's much more compact, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't even fit on the airlines, right? On airplanes anymore.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget type stuff would be nice. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many possibilities.
Something like that. Like, in terms of robotics, I'm much more interested in prosthesis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Hopefully, someone from the prosthesis world would actually guest with us. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Like transhumanism. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, the connection of the nerves
and all that.
Yeah, that's way out there. We're looking at humanoids, but that type thing, that's and much more applicable, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a question with, always with AI and now, these, what I imagine when they see humanoid is, walking, talking, decision making, robots. But I mean, there's a level of security that comes with this, right? Like how much do these robots need to know? Like, do you want this robot to go buy your groceries? Of course you do. But do you also want this inanimate object to carry your house keys? Probably not. Right? Yeah. People follow it home and it's just like zit, zit, zit. It's not paying attention. There's like, you're just leading people right through your front door. Like, there's so many.
We already have.
Yeah.
We already have robots that deliver our food to us, or at least for some people, they have those little. They have like literally look like R2D2 units almost. Little like box, and it's like it rolls. I don't know if it's like widely popular. I don't know where specifically, but I've seen pictures of people ordering takeout or even groceries with this little robot that just kind of drives around and it's all automatic. So
yeah,
we're already at that point. We're already at that point. It's just, again, back to the whole point of the conversation. Do they need to look like a human? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Most likely not.
Yeah. Wheels would be nice, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, like, the walking, maybe the walking is a little too close to home.
Yeah.
some type
And
of
also, there's a sense of how urgent is this needed? Like,
well,
it's doubted as filling
Not
10 million jobs, like,
I don't know, as a bachelor, I could use that right now.
right? So is there even a
For
job
cleaning, I
scarce?
mean, for cleaning. No other purpose, just for let me clarify. I meant for general cleaning.
You really need to put the disclaimer out there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of like security and stuff, obviously robots and things like that are scary when it comes to the security side of things, whether it be physical or anything else. But we humans also tend to have a problem with security. Right, Christian? I think we covered something about somebody at Tesla, whether intentional or unintentional, made a big mistake.
Yeah. You would think people with billions of dollars
Understatement.
would have had better security. Like, our third topic is a former Tesla employee has shared a leaked document of the company's complaints for the past years, particularly about the autopilot feature. The confidential data, which is shared with the German publication Handelsblatt, contains 100 gigabytes of data on issues raised by consumers who oppose the automaker's full self-driving capabilities. Chris, will the leak affect future sales of Tesla?
No, I think everybody knows already. I don't think anything was leaked that is really damning. I mean, it's what Tesla's doing is a first of its kind. So if you're under the impression that there's not a shitload of complaints, then you're an idiot. Like
Yeah, I'm
people
curious
know,
if.
yeah.
So I apologize. I'm looking to see year over year where Tesla stock has gone, and it's it's gone up actually. But my question is, are people really still invested in Teslas as much as they were several years ago? Not so much, Everyone's kind of turning to electric cars. Toyota, all these different companies, GM have poured so much support into electric cars. Even Ford just announced that by 2025, I believe, you can start using Tesla superchargers around at least in the US. Maybe I could be wrong. So will it impact their sales? Maybe like a tiny bit, but at the same time, I feel like Tesla sales have already started to dwindle in the face of better options now, more options. Um, like I said, like other companies are starting to pick up, and even cooler ones like Polestar. There's like so many better options out there other than Tesla, and Tesla just has this big name to it attached to it. That's diminished in value, I feel like.
Well,
People used to buy. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I would agree. I would think that a leak like this isn't as detrimental as Elon Musk has proven to be.
Yeah.
Like
That's a great point.
he's turning people off more so than people saying my autopilot or whatever the hell it is isn't working correctly.
Yeah, and that's been a well-known issue.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the autopilot itself, but also just Tesla cars blowing up.
Yeah.
And not funny. It's not funny, but at the same time, like Tesla batteries have had issues before, and the autopilot has been well known to be kind of buggy and a mess. So people already kind of consider this stuff when they consider buying a Tesla car. I think at least from the outside looking in, Tesla, when you buy a Tesla, it's just for the fact that like, oh, I have a Tesla. It's not like because this is like a car that I like. I like driving this car and stuff like that. It's more so because it's a statement. And I say that just for the sheer fact that it's such a big thing in Los Angeles. Everyone has a Tesla in Los Angeles, and it's like this, almost like a rite of passage, right? Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I have a much different take than for this. Like, I
Yeah.
think, in a sense, the leak is actually detrimental. Like, you mentioned a couple of brands that are still they're going to be doing electric cars. Like, I see them as Tesla's competition now. There might be a few partnerships, but them getting your hands on information on what Tesla has done wrong then all of a sudden them using that data to actually improve their system might sway the dial to them when it comes to their consumers.
That is a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, you do
My
mention
thing,
that
my
there.
thinking is,
I think
my thinking
there's
is
a
like
reason
the
why Tesla is wanting a news blackout for this, because they did
Mm.
that they will be going after publications like not us, but they will be going around and looking at publications that will be running the leaks.
My thinking is like Tesla's time has already kind of passed. Maybe I'm incorrect in that, but it's just I feel like more and more people are kind of ditching the Tesla approach to things and going in different directions with their purchases in cars, especially especially around where I live. People don't even really need a car. People don't need any of that. And putting the environmental thought aside, it's like you don't.
And going off from what
what's
you said, you did say that Tesla is a statement piece, and when everyone actually
Yes.
catches up to them, the statement piece usually is put on the wayside, and the practical ones are actually at the forefront.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how
And the
much will
designs
this
haven't
actually
changed all
affect
that
the sale?
much.
But I
Tesla
mean,
designs haven't changed all that much.
do you think because I imagine that obviously, right, Elon Musk is an intelligent man. He knows, but before him, to own an electric car was almost like drinking a Bud Light, right? Like nobody wants to be seen in a Prius or a Volt or a Leaf or whatever they had.
Yeah.
And Elon came in and was like, electric cars don't have to be like this.
You made it cool.
Yeah, he made them cool. And now other companies like GM and Ford are like, okay, I guess we could make these cool too. So he's kind of accomplished what I feel either the point he wanted to prove or kind of like if they do follow, great. If they don't, even better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there are reasons still to buy Tesla cars. It's just where's the innovation?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And not for nothing, Elon Musk is like this cultural zeitgeist. Everyone wants to, like clamor and stuff like that. But he says one thing on Twitter and people freak out, right?
Right.
I don't know. I think people are just kind of over it. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I think just people are kind of over, like just everything that has to do with that man, Elon Musk.
Well, it's oversaturation at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everywhere you look, here I can't almost every topic, not every one of them, but a lot of the topics that we cover on Tech Times, a lot of the topics we discuss here, they do kind of go back, like, you know what I'm saying? They can be linked. Like he's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, our conversations about AI, not this week, obviously, but our conversations AI always turn to him just because of his disliking to artificial intelligence. But it's and I'm sure the autopilot over time will get better.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just had such bad rap that and how many people are really using it? That's like one thing. It's like how many people are really using the autopilot as much as it's because like a lot of places they don't even allow it. They don't even allow you to use it.
Yeah, what I find funny about this is, according to Tesla, the leak came from a disgruntled employee. Like if you have someone, a former employee that's actually accessed these documents, do you not have him sign an NDA or vet him before he actually leaves your company?
I wouldn't be surprised if this person broke the NDA.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were let go or left voluntarily, at that point, do you really care?
Right.
I'm sure you get sued and stuff, but if you're trying to make a point, right?
Company when it comes to litigations, like
if
I were someone, let's say, giving an example, an employee of Apple, and I'm fully aware of how far or the resources when it comes to lawsuits is concerned, I wouldn't actually be that laissez-faire when it comes to cutting my NDA.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious why the employee was so disgruntled. Was it bad working condition? Was I don't know, like what happened? What happened there?
That's more of the that's a more titillating story than hey, we have a bunch of complaints. Like, of course you do. This is all world's first technology. Of course, it's rolled out to real people that are going to complain. So obviously there's a shitload of complaints. But why are you so upset? That's what I want to know.
Also, the thing is using the auto driving feature that much popular than actually driving it?
That's what I mentioned. Yeah,
I think it's a novelty. It's like, oh shit, look what
there's
my car can
some.
do.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's some states that disallow it too, that don't allow
Yeah.
full, level level 3 or level 2, whatever it is.
Yeah, like the whole napping on a road trip, that shit to me is crazy.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
wouldn't
a
be
couple
doing
of
that.
videos already of people following their GPS and driving themselves off a bridge or into a river. Like,
Yeah.
much more could an
What?
automated one do, right?
Yeah, yeah. We're not there yet. I just
Yeah.
we're just not there yet to trust the system,
Mm.
and this literally all this does is just prove that fact, right? Like, all these people have clearly had a ton of issues. It's crazy to me that like there's so many issues, and it's just not really that popular, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like 100 gigabytes of data on and there's like no one's talking about all these complaints, right? Like on social media, whatever it be. If there's so many complaints, why I mean more people talking about it online?
100
Yeah.
gigabytes of text, let's say it's just text, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how many
That's what's
complaints have
surprising
been
me, is the fact that
received?
there's not more people, because as I said, like this conversation has been had before. But that's a lot. That's a lot. And like the fact that there's just not that much conversation about it online is a little crazy.
Like, if it was actually leaked to the competitors, they would be having a field day, right?
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
would save them a lot on their R&D because they already know the blueprint of what not to do.
Actually, I watched an interview with Musk, and I thought it was very interesting that he shares this information pretty soon after they realize that they realize it works. Like, okay, this is effective. Then he gives it away because he's already on to the next thing. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was on Joe Rogan or something. It might not even have been a real podcast. Who the hell knows? It could have been some AI shit. I don't know.
Was it Google that actually proposed this auto driving thing?
What do you mean?
First, was it Google first?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Whatever happened to that? Like, did they suddenly give up on it?
I think
I think it's difficult, man. I think it's really difficult to do.
It is, because you'd still need a driver. If that makes sense. Like,
right.
You can have a autonomous car all you want, but for safety reasons, you still need a driver, and it's not fun, I feel like, for these companies. They want to prove that it can do it itself, and without that, it's not really a story. Well, if someone's behind the wheel, it's not a story. And again, it's not so much protecting the driver or protecting the people in the car as it is just everyone, right, on the road.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people
infrastructure,
miss that,
all of it.
Yeah. It's one accident can lead to multiple, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that sensor, part of the car, right, to detect detect pedestrians.
Yeah, but speaking of accidents, I want to segue again to the big accident that Meta seems to have made.
Big accident.
I think somebody at Meta really shit the bed on this one.
Couple
monies.
That was 3 years in the making.
Yeah.
Our very last topic for today: Meta, the parent company of popular platforms like Facebook and Instagram, has finally sold GIPHY, the well-known animated GIF search engine, for $53 million. The acquisition of GIPHY by Meta 3 years ago was valued at a whopping 400 million. Ryan, do you think Meta overpaid? Or was the acquisition just part of them taking out competitors?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Always a little
No, I
skinny
think they
at the end.
I think they overpaid for sure. And it's clear from this acquisition, obviously. Like I'm not really sure what their point was buying it in the first place, especially you said 3 years ago on the cusp of a global pandemic.
Mm,
Was $400 million, especially in the face of that. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And especially for just, GIFs or GIFs, however people want to say it.
mm.
Um, I don't think there's much value in that. And how much do you guys use GIFs on a daily basis, if
I don't
ever?
I don't know if daily's correct the right maybe 5 or 6 times a
I,
month.
yeah, I was gonna say about like once a month, if that.
Yeah. I
GIFs
do
have
sometimes.
gone by the wayside. GIFs, like they had their value in the early 2000s when they were cool.
Mm,
Nowadays, there's other than using them sometimes in video content, right? And
mm,
maybe online with Twitter. Those are the only two times where I can see, GIFs becoming or being used in a, valuable way. But for the most part, it's not like people, are messaging with GIFs all that often. At least as far as I have seen,
mm.
I've noticed. I mean, especially with emoticons and emotes and stuff, like
Yeah.
that stuff, I feel like blew GIFs out of the water in a sense. It's like we used to use GIFs and stuff to kind of show emotion
Hmm.
or even just like, prove a point, maybe even. And now we have emotes for that, and they're even easier to find and type, and
Right.
so yeah. I don't know, Jiffy. God, it's like
Yeah,
a one of those diamonds in the
when they
rough.
bought
Like
this, like I kind of figured they paid $400 million worth of memes, right?
yes,
Because this is
yes,
memes are usually they used for gifts
Yeah.
yeah.
back then. But it
Even
is
still to
kind
this
of
day.
funny. Yeah, with this sale, it's kind of funny that Meta, I think people there are actually intelligent. Well, the main essence of making money in business is buy low, sell high. And they managed to
Yeah.
get two words wrong on this deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even I just looking at it from the outside and $400 million. We had mentioned this off camera, but you're not just buying obviously the platform, you're getting the
Yeah.
employees, you're getting a ton of stuff, even the back end, all the software, all kinds of different things. Um, Even with all of that, I don't see $400 million being worth, or Jiffy being worth that much. I don't know. It's like
It's an
it's
insane
so
amount
That's
of money.
why
much money.
the question is whether they overpaid because I think these are intelligent people that are running these.
Okay. How about this? Did they pay 400 million for some type of software
Hmm.
and then sell the name for 53 million?
I don't think it works like that.
Doesn't work that way.
Mm-mm.
This doesn't make sense. I mean, why even sell it? Why
Yeah.
even
Why?
why
Yeah.
even sell it?
Well, that I think is easy to understand in that Meta has been kind of losing money with its many investments into the metaverse. Very theoretical, very intangible currently, and it's a kind of a passion project on Mark Zuckerberg's part. Like we're nowhere near where we need to be in terms of technology for the metaverse to be a thing, and
Mhm.
Zuckerberg wants so bad to be at the forefront of it,
Right.
and he's wasting a lot of money. And I think it was just an offloading point where like they needed to fix the books, and Jiffy was a good thing to sell. They didn't need it anymore.
Yeah. Cut maybe just dead weight, right? Just cut the dead weight.
Yeah,
Make
which is
a
Honestly, even
sad, really.
before
that's a
yeah,
huge
even
loss,
before the
man.
acquisition, like even before the acquisition, I still even without Meta, I still don't see the use for this, even before they bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when they bought it, maybe I don't know, maybe to up the ante in terms of social media
Mm.
presence. No one uses Facebook anymore or Meta, whatever,
Right.
no one
Yeah.
really at least in my age bracket. And I think I've mentioned this before, like my dad is like loves Facebook, and I just don't understand the point for me. Other than maybe talking to people, right, on like Messenger, and that I can see value with GIPHY, the integration there. But it's like, how, again, back to my point earlier, how often do we use GIFs to prove a point or to say anything? Not that much. I mean, maybe there's a good meme, as Christian said. Maybe there's a good meme you want to show, but for the most part, those are like images. Those are just images or even videos.
And back to the point you made earlier, Ryan. Where's the innovation?
Yeah.
It's just the same thing it was when they bought it. It hasn't changed.
They do say a collection of GIFs and stickers. Now,
okay.
Whatever stickers pertains to sounds interesting. There may be a little bit of innovation there, but again, if we have emotes and emoticons, whatever you want to call them,
in terms of stickers, I think that changes everything because it could be licensed ones. Like the license could have cost a lot. If it's an entire library of licenses, you need to pay them for the license.
Mm-hmm.
But there's GIF creators, right? You can create your own GIF. It's easy.
There are meme generators.
You can do that in like a video. You can do that in DaVinci Resolve. You can do that. You can make a GIF, kind of like
somebody could clip us.
Video editing software.
Yeah.
I might do something after this.
Yeah. GIF me, man. GIF me.
We haven't talked about Shutterstock yet. Good on them for getting this for bargain.
Yeah,
Shutterstock bargain.
I see now there is like that has Shutterstock buying GIF. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. But again,
like it fits them the most.
Yeah, but where's the utility? Like who's using GIFs? I don't know. It's such a weird concept because no one and they're so hard to work with. Like especially in video editing workflows, you have to like download a whole different thing, another plugin, at least with DaVinci Resolve is what I know. And it's like they're kind of a pain when you're doing video editing stuff. Even like texting, half the time they don't even work, right?
Yeah.
Half the time they don't like move. So it's like, I don't know, it's just like a weird platform to begin with. GIFs are just never really that cool.
Right.
I think the clients of Shutterstock, I think they would appreciate an addition to the library. They paid for this, right? And we do have to consider why people actually subscribe to Shutterstock is to avoid lawsuits when it comes to licenses. We don't know how many of the library within GIPHY are actually high valued licenses. They've actually acquired since we don't have access to what's in it. But they might appreciate being able to have stress-free GIFs at their disposals, particularly if there are publications. They're looking to use this for content as well as content creators.
Promotion. Yeah. I see that.
I mean, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall during negotiations where Meta's like, we paid $400 million and Shutterstock was like, no, bro, that's not even. I'm not even going to give you a quarter of it. I'm going to give you
That's why I said even without Meta, the acquisition actually didn't make sense to me unless they think of this as a competitor for them or something they could integrate to what they have right now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
They have Messenger. Messenger is the most likely place I can see them using this for.
Yeah.
And posts. I mean, obviously posts, right? I mean, Facebook posts, like you post like a GIF, sure, but I don't know. Unless you created a GIF or something, you're not really posting a GIF like that, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, it's not. The only thing more cringe than a GIF is a sticker. Like I don't use the sticker. I use a GIF.
Cringe than a GIF is a repeating GIF because if all are you are just digging through the same library.
Yeah, but I think that's good for us, gentlemen. I want to give a shout out to someone that left a comment the other day before we end the podcast, and to Spindle Nat. I'm sure that I'm not going to get into the comment. He made a very good point. And I really appreciate it. And I know you guys do, and Tech Times does. Tech Talks, here's Tech Talks. really appreciate the engagement. And yeah, you made a very good point, Spend, on that. And you definitely made me think and double think about everything. And that's why we're here, right? And that's why you're there to kind of set us straight. So yeah, thanks for the comment. And to the viewers, yeah, feel free, man. Let us have it. It's not a problem. Please speak your mind.
Drop your favorite GIFs in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interact with us until we turn into AIs in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Interact while you can. We may not be here next week. But yeah, as always, gentlemen, Ryan, Christian, it's a pleasure, man. The conversation's always great.
Likewise.
Yeah, and to the viewers and the subscribers, we will see you guys next week.
Take care.